Hey, what's up everyone? This is Opinionated Plays. I am here with a tier list video I spoke about in a video a few videos ago that I was eventually going to do one of these, and the scenario here is we're doing a Dragon Ball Z Buu Saga character tier list. Now, the reason I picked this saga out of Dragon Ball Z, if you've watched Dragon Ball Z before, the 6-year time skip that takes place from the Cell Saga to the Buu Saga allows for a ton of character development and new faces to be brought into the scene. Specifically, when you're talking about Gohan going from basically a young kid into his high school years. You look at Goku training in Otherworld for many years, and a bunch of other characters just gaining experience and age throughout the series. So that's why I picked this saga to go over, and basically I want to go over the tiers here. So we have the God tier, which is for the best characters in the arc, and they'll probably be characters you have personal attachments to, or they're the best characters in the series specifically. And then moving on, you have the entertaining characters, the ones that you really liked when they were on the screen, but you didn't actually care if they were there for long segments or shots. Overall, these are characters that had a place in this arc, but didn't necessarily have to be involved in any other arcs. Next we have the mid tier, which is the characters that you were just waiting for to, move to the next scene. You didn't really have any attachment to them. They were just there. They played a role, but they didn't necessarily need to be there. They were basically just filling in a role for the story. The next tier we have the annoying characters, which it was usually either a good guy who you wanted to get killed off because they were being a bitch, or it was a bad guy that was being a bitch and you wanted to see them get killed off. So those are the annoying characters. You basically wanted to see them die. And then the last tier we have here for these characters is dog water. These are the characters that should have never been written, should have never been drawn, should have never been animated. They have no place in the story except to be dog water. And then I added an extra tier here, not really a ranking, but characters that you probably don't even know the name of. They're irrelevant. They're strictly there just to take up space. They have no qualities that you would care about, or they're meaningless little scenes in the show. So, moving on from that, let's get going here with the first character. We have Base Form Kid Trunks. This kid right here is pretty useless until he becomes Gotenks, so he's going to go in the mid tier. It's probably going to be the same for Goten. Until they turn into Gotenks, they have barely any effect on the trajectory of the arc, so that's where he's going to go. The next guy is this barbarian looking dude from the Otherworld. He looks pretty strong when you first see him, but he's actually a weakling, and that's why he gets destroyed like everyone else there. And, they just get ran through over there. So he's irrelevant. Next thing we have is a Shin Kibito Kai fusion. These guys are absolutely annoying. They're not complete dog water. They do play a role in the end of the saga where you have them trying to make a wish with the Dragon Balls to restore Goku's energy. That's all they really do at the end there. But other than that, they're just basically a loser fusion. They aren't strong at all. They're weaklings, and that's why he's in the annoying tier. Moving on from that, we have Deborah. This is a character that I would compare to someone like Raditz, who had a lot of potential before you knew that they were not as strong as you thought, because they were basically leading up to another main villain. So Deborah is dog water. That's what he is. He's dog water because he's basically there just to set up Buu. He has no purpose. The only thing he actually did successfully was destroy Kibito Kai and spit on Piccolo and Krillin, which resulted in nothing because those are not the fighters you have to worry about. The fighters you were supposed to worry about was someone like Gohan or Vegeta or Goku, who, Gohan was the only one who couldn't wipe the floor with you. So you're a dog water character, and you should have been way stronger than you were, and you have no place in any future Dragon Ball series or anything like that because you're weak. Okay. Next we have Goten. He's mid, just like Kid Trunks. Basically the same character, just different family. And until they become Gotenks, they have no real personality that you care about, or strength, and they play no role. Next we have Spopovich. He's entertaining. So far he's going to be the highest ranked character because he is hilariously beating the shit out of Videl. He's extremely entertaining in that sense. He does nothing else except beat the hell out of a girl, and Gohan's sitting there fuming, and he can't do anything about it. That's why he's entertaining. That's my position on him. Next we have another irrelevant character from the tournament at the beginning of the arc. He is an idiot. I believe he gets his ass clapped by somebody, but I don't know his name, and he's irrelevant. Moving on, we have Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Now, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, if he did not have the energy limitations of losing his power over time, that is the main drawback of this form, he would be a god tier character, but his inconsistency throughout the arc leads me to believe that he is just entertaining while on the screen. While he is on full power Super Saiyan 3, he is very entertaining to watch, and that's about it with him. When he's losing power, he's extremely annoying, but overall when he's, at his maximum power, he is one of the strongest non-fused beings there. Going from there, we have the version of Buu, which is Piccolo absorbed only. Now, there's a lot of good forms of Buu, but this is definitely the worst form of Buu. He is weak. He's just Super Buu with Piccolo's mind, and he can't do anything. He could not do anything until he absorbed Gohan. So that's really what was come down to there. He's dog water. Moving on, we have Babidi. Babidi is a bitch, but he's not absolute dog water because the only role he actually played was, number one, he's the reason Buu was even able to be revived, and number two, he actually kept Buu in line from doing his own personal ideas and objectives. So he does play a role there, so he's not absolute dog water. He did have a purpose. So the best part about him, honestly, was Piccolo blowing his head off, I guess chopping his body in half, and he was like that for an episode or so. So that was the best part about his character. Next we have Yamu. He is totally irrelevant compared to Spopovich. Yamu is a bum. He stands there all grimacingly. He has a power level of about 10 to 15, and he just stands there with his little, coffee machine absorber to take Gohan's energy, and he does nothing. He does nothing else. He just dies. That's basically it. So he's irrelevant. Next we have female Kai from the past. She had a scene where she was fighting Buu just like all the other Kais there, and she got destroyed just like everyone else, so she's irrelevant. Plays no real purpose except for a flashback. That's her deal. Next, I believe this is Majin Vegeta. He is a god tier character. The reason he's god tier specifically is because this is the closest version of Vegeta that we have to the Saiyan Saga Vegeta, but in this case, this Vegeta is way more powerful. He basically took the Saiyan Saga version of himself, combining it with the Super Saiyan arrogance, and just completely went apeshit on everyone around him. So he was a menace. No one could control him. The only reason he did not play a larger role specifically is because, number one, Super Saiyan 2 got phased out pretty quickly in this arc. It only lasted from the end of Cell Saga into the start of this Buu Saga. It's a shame that Majin Vegeta wasn't able to kill Buu because Super Saiyan 2 just wasn't strong enough at the time. It got phased out very quickly. But other than that, the personality's there. The strength was there versus Goku. They were pretty closely matched, and it was a great scene to watch his final explosion. That was obviously an iconic moment, and it's the first time I ever saw Dragon Ball Z, so that's close to my heart, that scene specifically. So most people wouldn't debate he's a god tier character in this arc. No problem there. Next we have weak Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from versus Deborah. And this version of Gohan, I just gotta say, he is just absolutely a disappointment to the show. I understand in times of peace that allows for weakness to seep in, but this guy should have never let Goku and Vegeta surpass him. He should have at least stayed on the same level. He was nowhere near their power when this arc started. So this guy's a disappointment. He couldn't defend his family. He couldn't defend anybody. He tried to have a blast at Buu when his ball wasn't opened yet, and he just failed at that as well. He's not real as far as power goes. The only time later that he was actually able to do anything was when he had his potential unlocked by Elder Kai. But in this specific Super Saiyan 2 form, he was absolutely weak, in a very mid. So he has a great spot there in the mid tier. Next we have Buff Buu. He is a joke. He's dog water. He was just there for a few seconds there. Not really playing a purpose. Just an angry, unbelievably stupid character in that moment. But once he calms down, he goes back to being a decent character. So this version of Buu is irrelevant. He was only on the screen for a short amount of time. Here we have a fat Buu. Nobody would argue that this guy is entertaining as hell. Even if you think he's immature and you don't like that the main villain of the arc, at least at the beginning, is a fat blob who thinks it's funny, or is basically almost regarded as like having a mental disability. This is the perfect representation of a character that has a deeper meaning to them, which is, we didn't know at first that Buu was basically a very unevil version of himself. Basically, the fat Grand Kai is the reason this version of Buu had any sense of goodness. That is the reason he befriended Mr. Satan and his dog. And that allowed for him to be defused basically with evil Buu, which later became Super Buu by killing this Buu and absorbing him. So it's a very complicated situation there, but nonetheless is a very entertaining character. Most people agree, not God tier. He's not at that level, but I think most people agree he was entertaining in a lot of scenes throughout this arc. Next we have Elder Kai. The deal with this guy is he's the Elder Kai version basically of Master Roshi. He gets more screen time than him. He's basically just a pervert. That's what he does. That's his role. And he likes to berate Shin and Kibito. And he's probably right. Those guys are bitches. So that's good for him. I'm happy he was in this arc. He deserves to be an entertaining tier character here. Next we have a very important character, Mr. Satan, Hercule, father of Videl, friend of Buu. Once it gets to that point in the arc, that's the reason Buu is able to defuse from his evil self. So this guy, Hercule, was pretty annoying in the Cell Saga, but he actually played a vital role in this saga. So I gotta give him his respect. He's definitely entertaining in this saga specifically. Next we have an irrelevant fighter from the tournament. Not gonna spend time on him. He's a bum. Next we have Super Buu. Now Super Buu is basically a worse version of Kid Buu by most people's standards. He basically is just a weaker version and less. He has more regard for human life. Even though he did perform the human extinction attack, he basically wanted to kill people for the ability to turn them into chocolate, while Kid Buu just wanted to destroy worlds. So this guy is just not as relevant. Gotenks was a good match for him, and Ultimate Gohan beat the hell out of him, so he was nothing special. Specifically, I think mid is good for him. He wasn't that entertaining except when he depopulated the world with his human extinction attack, but besides that, he's mid, so that's what I would say about him. Next we have this costume that Goten and Trunks put on, and this is an irrelevant character. Basically they fought Android 18 in the tournament, and she can go in irrelevant as well for this arc. Not saying for the series, she's obviously more relevant than that, but this arc specifically, she's just another person. She doesn't play any major role. So they'll both go in irrelevant for that little squirrel or quarrel they had there. Basically, fighting at the tournament for no specific reason, just for filler. That's all they are, filler characters in this arc. Next we have Super Saiyan Gohan in his high school attire. This guy is on the same level as Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, basically because they're both weak. They can't do anything in this arc against the top opponents, and, you know, it's more understandable that Gohan is not as strong, like I said, while in times of peace, but again, he wasn't even on a close level to Vegeta and Goku, so he has no real place anywhere above mid. That's what he is, he's mid. So, moving on, we have Mullet Guy, irrelevant fighter from the tournament, nobody cares. Piccolo, his claim to fame is training Goten and Trunks and killing Babidi, basically, beheading him. In this arc specifically, this is the worst arc of Dragon Ball Z for Piccolo. He does nothing but those two things. He trains and he punches through Babidi's force field and beheads him, basically. So, in this arc, he's mid. He's not that important, so we'll just move off from him quickly. Base form High School Gohan, again, mid. There's no real other place for him. He's just mid. The only good thing, he was able to bag a bitch in Videl. I mean, he got Videl, so that's cool. Later became a good wife, but other than that, you know, that's the only W he took in this little sequence here. Extremely weak. He could only beat up human criminals, and he had a horrible outfit for a Great Saiyaman, so he's mid, that's all he is. But it's Gohan, so you can't really put him below mid, so that's just my stance on it. Next we have Yamcha, one of the worst character downfalls in the series. He's absolutely irrelevant. He's a bystander. He sat in the stands while Vegeta was blowing up other people. In my opinion, he should have aimed at Yamcha and not those other people, because Yamcha wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. He's too weak. He would have died just like the rest of the people in the stands, but that's what should have happened to Yamcha in this arc. Next we have Base Vegeta from the tournament at the beginning. He's entertaining. He destroys the workout machine, or I guess the punching machine. And his other thing before any of the Buu stuff went down was he trained Trunks in the little time chamber there. That was really all he did up to that point. He wanted to fight Goku at the tournament. It never occurred. They ended up fighting later when he was in his Majin form. But he was entertaining nonetheless. Any form of Vegeta from the Buu arc is entertaining. And that leads us to Super Saiyan 2 Goku, who is also an entertaining tier character. Specifically because he... this is the first time we saw Goku go Super Saiyan 2. Previously we just saw him Master Super Saiyan, but we didn't know about Super Saiyan 3 yet when we saw Super Saiyan 2 Goku. So eventually that led to Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Majin Vegeta fighting, both in Super Saiyan 2. That was the real highlight of the arc for that form, so it was entertaining when he was in Super Saiyan 2, but for the rest of the arc, he was basically in Super Saiyan 3 primarily. Next we have Videl. She's mid. She's not a grown woman yet. She's extremely emotional, not level-headed, so I believe that the adult version of Videl is superior, so she belongs to be in mid. The adult version of Videl is actually a stable human being, not doing irrational things like trying to fly to the fight when you think you're an actual fighter, but you're just a human martial artist that lacks any real power. So, you know, good for her that she, you know, is with Gohan, but realistically she didn't play much of a role in this arc except crying when she, you know, didn't know if Gohan was dead or not, but then unbelievably feeling in her heart that he actually was alive. So, I mean, that's her claim to fame right there. She's Gohan's girl. That's all that's going on there. So, I want to move on from her, move on to a real character, which is base form Vegito, and he is an entertaining character. The reason he's not in God tier is because that's reserved for his Super Saiyan version. This guy gets some screen time of just basically embarrassing Buu, knocking down his ego, taking advantage of the fact that Buu thinks he's stronger than he actually is. Basically, this is just a precursor to Super Vegito, and Super Vegito doesn't go back to base for the rest of the series. And this guy is just hilarious, and it's just a little lesser of a version than Super Vegito. Next, we have Fat Grand Elder Kai. This guy is pretty much dog water. basically he's dog water because he's just Fat Buu, basically, except it's the same body. It was kind of a low quality, how can you put it, creativity there. Buu absorbs this guy, and I guess it allows Buu to have some sort of good side. But this guy had nothing but flashbacks. He's dog water. You know, he's the Grand Kai, and he couldn't do anything about Buu, so that makes you dog water. You couldn't stop him, so that's all I gotta say about that. Next we have Krillin with hair. He's absolutely irrelevant. The only thing that happened to him was he got spit on by Deborah and couldn't do anything. He didn't really fight at all. And when he had to defend Android 18 and his daughter, he got absolutely smoked. So he's irrelevant in this arc. We don't like Krillin with the long hair. We like him bald. That's where he's at his best. In Super, in original Dragon Ball, in early Z, when he's bald, he's a threat. Next we have base form Gotenks. He's just annoying. He's not dog water, but he's annoying because you're just waiting for him to transform already because you know he could do it. And he just takes up way too much time messing around with his little shots at Buu. But until this guy transforms, he is no match for Super Buu. Next we have long-haired bum tournament fighter nobody cares about. Next we have Chaozu. He's irrelevant in this arc, just like most arcs in Dragon Ball, but he just hangs around Tien, and we eventually see him like one time, I think, when Goku's transforming into Super Saiyan 3, and Tien's like, what is Goku doing? And Chaozu is just there, you know, being his only friend on Earth, basically. Next we have Super Saiyan Goku from the tournament, and he's entertaining. He wants to basically get pissed eventually at Vegeta's actions specifically, and wants to take it out on the Supreme Kai because Supreme Kai doesn't want them to fight. Well, truthfully speaking, Supreme Kai really couldn't do anything if he wanted to, and that's why he stepped down from the arena. He's a weak Kai. He has no place as far as strength. The only thing he has is his Patara earrings and basically his ability to be watching over the world. But besides that point, specifically for Super Saiyan Goku, not much screen time in this arc. Super Saiyan is basically phased out at this point. No real reason to use it at this point. Super Saiyan 2 is just better, but overall, Super Saiyan Goku is going to be entertaining no matter what, so that's why he's there. Next we have Super Saiyan Gotenks. Now he's better than base Gotenks. He's at least just mid. But yet, all he's doing is throwing up moves that look cool, but can't actually inflict any damage, so that's why he's in mid. Next we have Super Saiyan Kid Trunks. Similarly, this guy can go right next to base form Kid Trunks. The only thing he was doing, basically, was retrieving the Dragon Radar, and I believe he saved Vegeta. Along with Goten, they saved Vegeta when Buu was squashing him, basically, with his, I don't know, his pink fat, basically, running around Vegeta's body, squeezing him to death. Kid Trunks did lay a kick in there, I believe, but that's about it. Next we have one of the other irrelevant Kais. He died, nothing else to say. Another thing we have is Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, non-Majin, I believe, versus Kid Buu. This guy was pretty entertaining. He couldn't do anything specifically to beat Kid Buu, but he was able to buy time for Goku. But the real sad thing is Super Saiyan 3 was just draining power while Goku was trying to gain enough power to use a final attack, and Vegeta just basically wasted his time there. So that's what I remember from that. Next we have Super Saiyan Goten. Super Saiyan Goten is going to go right next to Super Saiyan Kid Trunks. He was probably less relevant, honestly. The only thing that Kid Goten and Trunks, yet again, has is Gotenks. That's the whole reason they exist in this arc, sadly. Next we have Kid Buu. He's a god tier character. He's the best form of Buu. The reason he's the best form is because he has no regard for human life. He destroys things for fun, and basically he's just a better version of all the other Buus. He's the original he's just the original form. He's not being absorbed by anything else, so he's not like Fat Buu where he is evil and good. He's just straight up Kid Buu. He's nothing else but Kid Buu. He has nothing inside him that's stopping him from being himself. So that's why he's God tier. He's an excellent villain in that sense. He destroyed the Earth. He beat the shit out of Vegeta. He beat Goku pretty good until Goku got a bailout by Supreme Kai, restoring his power with the Spirit Bomb. So that's why Kid Buu's a great character, is because, they needed the Dragon Balls to beat him. That's why. Next we have Tien, irrelevant, sadly. Vegeta, and this I believe is Super Saiyan Vegeta, and he's entertaining. I don't know exactly what the scene is from, but Super Saiyan Vegeta is entertaining. That's all I know. Next we have Evil Buu. When he detached from Fat Buu, he was on the screen for a few minutes. He ended up absorbing Fat Buu to create Super Buu. But this guy was just mid. I mean, that's the best way to put it. He was mid. He was obviously stronger than Fat Buu when they were separated, but he was just the lead up to Super Buu, which happened in 5 to 10 minutes. So he's just mid. That's all. Another version of Fat Buu. I can't differentiate these two, but they're going to go in the same spot. I already went over him, so that's where he goes. Base form Goku. He's entertaining. Any version of Goku is probably going to be entertaining in some aspect, but it's Goku. You're not going to put him in mid. He's still, the lead of the show. He's entertaining. He's going to have the most scenes, but that's basically where he sits. Kibito is absolutely dog water. He gets blown to bits by Deborah, and Deborah's in dog water, so he's even worse. Kibito is just absolutely one of the worst characters. The only thing he did specifically was heal Gohan and restore his power, but that's basically all he is. He's just there to restore power. So, he's similar to a Namekian in that sense, like Dende, but at least Dende is the Guardian of the Earth. He actually has a role to play. And honestly, I don't have a picture of Dende here, but he actually was useful in this arc, but he's not here. But if he was here, I'd put him in mid. Supreme Kai, he can go in annoying. The reason he's annoying is because he should have been strong, but he was weak, and that's the whole problem with him. Is when we first saw him, we thought he was actually going to be a threat to any enemy that opposed him, but he actually needed Saiyan's help to defend himself. So he's just annoying. He's weak. He is just. It's just a shame that he was not a stronger opponent versus Buu, or anybody for that matter. Next we have Pui Pui. Everybody loves watching him get absolutely disintegrated by Vegeta, and he is a cocky, arrogant bastard, so he goes in annoying. He's not absolute dog water because specifically it was entertaining watching him get killed. If it wasn't, he would just be dog water, but he was just annoying, which he was. He was one of the most annoying characters in the arc. We're almost done here, but next we have a very important character, which is Buuhan, which will go in entertaining. Not God tier. He had flaws just like Ultimate Gohan, but the difference is Ultimate Gohan, is actually somebody that took his power and utilized it for a purpose as far as defending others. Buuhan just wanted to absorb power and run around and do stupid shit, and then once he was finally opposed by someone like Vegito, got absolutely bitched. So he's not in God tier because he got bitched by Vegito. He has Gohan's weakness, which is overestimating oneself, but that's why he's an entertaining, but nonetheless a good character for this saga. Next we have bum-ass tournament fighter, nobody knows his name, Super Vegito. Most God tier character in this saga. Most people wouldn't debate. He is the pinnacle of power. Out of all the, basically by the end of Dragon Ball Z, this was the strongest known character that will ever exist in Dragon Ball. He was by far the strongest out of any character ever shown off. If Dragon Ball Super never happened, this guy would be regarded as the best, and he's definitely the best for this saga. He is unbelievable. The only reason he didn't decimate Buuhan was because he was trying to detach the humans inside him and save them, or else he would have killed him in one shot. So Super Vegito is elite. Nobody can debate that, and that's where he stands at the top of God tier. Next we have another irrelevant Kai. He got disintegrated. Okay, Gotenks is entertaining. Now you don't have to like Gotenks, because he's not all that impressive as far as his power, but as far as regarding his ability to, his movesets he came up with in the short time he was in the time chamber were actually effective when he was in Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks was actually a threat to some extent. The only problem with him is being fused in Super Saiyan 3 allowed for his fusion to wear off quicker than it should have, but nonetheless he was entertaining, at least because he could inflict damage and not just talk about it. He was actually walking the walk for a little bit, so that's why he's entertaining. 3 more we have, this is Buu Tanks. Gotenks absorb Buu. He's dog water. He does nothing except, I think he does 1 or 2 moves to show off, but then he eventually moves on to a different form of Buu. Nonetheless, this form of Buu was pretty forgettable. I believe this is who Gohan fought until the fusion wore off, and then he was just Buu Piccolo. He's on the same level. He's not remembered for anything specifically. Everybody remembers Buuhan over this guy, or Super Buu. So that's where he stands as dog water. Next we have Yakan. He was mid. The reason he's not dog water or annoying is because he actually has a good ability to absorb energy, similar to Android 19 and 20 from the Android Saga. But the difference here is this guy, you know, he was pissing off Goku, and Goku basically just shoved it up his ass and said, you're no match for me, and then he got blown to bits. But if Goku didn't do that, this guy was a pretty strong opponent as far as his energy absorption, which leaves him at least as a mid-tier character, because that is a great quality to have nonetheless. Now our last character here is Ultimate Gohan, the best version of Gohan in Dragon Ball Z, specifically from a power standpoint and from a cockiness standpoint, but his downfall is obviously overestimating himself and, you know, disregarding his opponent's ability to take advantage of the matchup. So he's a god tier character. Specifically, he's not the best god tier character because his weakness, like I said, he beat the shit out of Super Buu, but allowed his brother Goten and Goten's friend Trunks, which is Gotenks, to get absorbed, which was really stupid, and then allowed Super Buu to absorb Piccolo, which was basically his mentor. So that was his only mark, which was negative for this guy. But overall, if this guy was there when fighting Kid Buu, he would have wiped the floor with him. So overall, he's a god tier character. A good ascension from when he was in high school, and the power level increase from Elder Kai, unlocking his potential. So that's my tier list. Overall, I would say it's accurate to me. It's not going to be accurate to everyone, but overall I think the top characters most people would agree on, Vegito, Super Vegito specifically, Kid Buu, Majin Vegeta, and Ultimate Gohan are all pretty god tier characters, the most memorable characters in this arc. And then obviously Super Saiyan 3 Goku, just a notch below them because of Super Saiyan 3's drawbacks. But overall, those are the tiers for the characters in the Majin Buu Saga. If you have any questions, or you want to tell me that this tier list is inaccurate or that something should be different, you can let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Opinionated Plays, and I wish everyone a good day.